J3 Tech here, and today I'm going to do an unboxing of an M5s in an unscripted video. AnyCubic sent me this printer, not for review or anything, just for thanks. And I thought it'd be fun to do a quick unboxing and just kind of give my first impression. So let's get started. The first thing I noticed about this printer is that it's just super light. I can tell that by the box. Like, this is just a pretty light printer. Not too many you can pick up with one hand with the printer and all the equipment. All right, screen protector, kind of a must for this printer. And it's not pre-installed because it doesn't, like normal screen protectors, just go over the LCD. It covers the entire top. Nice little smiley face, pretty custom on AnyCubic these days. Our nice yellow hood. Also standard AnyCubic. Let's see here. Oh, we got the build plate. This build plate's rather unique as it doesn't have any points to adjust it. I understand there is a build plate that's come out that can be adjusted for this printer, but I don't have one of those, so can't talk about that. One thing this printer does have, standard AnyCubic, is this kind of a nice etching pattern. This works really, really well. I've used a lot of printers now from a lot of manufacturers, and out of all the etching, I think this is actually my favorite. It works the best for keeping prints on, but also not making them too difficult to remove. One thing I did do is I use this instead to remove them. It won't scratch this. I mean, you probably could, but it's really hard. But as soon as you get it up underneath the raft, the whole thing just pops off. So this right here is great, where the other ones they come with are garbage, so I highly recommend getting one. I'll put a link in the description. Next, we've got the vat right there. This vat comes with that ACS film, so that more cloudy film. If it was NFEP or FEP, it would be mostly transparent. Something about AnyCubic printers I really like is the vat. Not only is it taller than most printers, but it's got this really nice shiny surface on it, which makes cleaning it really easy. Some things people don't realize, if you take this off and you set it down, it can get, even it's statically positive, so it can pull up any dust or anything like that and pull it onto it. So whenever you take these off, just make sure you're putting it on a clean surface, and that if needs be, even if it's full of resin, you can take like a microfiber and just kind of give it a few wipes and put it on just to make sure there's nothing stuck to the bottom of it, because anything on the bottom of that is going to get on your LCD. Anything on your LCD can make printing a lot more difficult. All right, the box of goodies. In here we've got the screws for the vat, power supply. This might be helpful for some people. The output is 24 volt and 120 watt, or 5 amps. So I know some people, they'll lose this or they want to buy another one. It's good to know. Gloves, plastic spatula, garbage. Yeah, all the tools you need. This spatula, also garbage. These garbage. Let's see here, screen protector, accessories. Oh, this is to play screen protector. That's not garbage. This garbage. So, all right, yeah, mostly all we need is, those are garbage. Pretty much just these and this and the Allen wrenches. And this is the only thing of value in there. The reason why most of those are garbage is because those masks don't do anything. Those gloves also are too thin, they don't work. And that plastic scraper, if you use it anywhere on your FEP, will pretty much destroy it. So don't use it. Use a silicone spatula to squeegee your FEP before every print. And if you have a failed print, use the vat clean method to remove it. All right, moving on to the printer. Let's turn it around here. All right, nice packing job, actually. Here's this very unique thing right here. There's actually a piece of rubber that goes over it. Underneath this, there is the, you'll see it's very thin metal. Here's what I was talking about earlier. This is where it's intentionally skeletonized, and there is actually a sensor here. So my assumption is when this thing bends, it can actually detect that there is a failure on it. All right, let's unbox this sucker. That's it, nothing else in there. And there we go. There's the actual printer. This is super, super light. Let's quickly power this sucker on. Looks like there's a protector on this one. I actually just leave them on because it acts as a protector, or I'll cut out a piece of NFEP or FEP and then use the same tape, the gaffer's tape that I have that I put around this, and actually create myself my own cover so the dirty fingers don't ruin my LCD. All right, let's see here. Let's, tools, I want to move the Z up, let's say 50 millimeters. Not a bad UI, actually. And here's just kind of a quick example of this UI. The Move Z is really nice. It's got the 50 millimeter, of course. The vat cleaning method here we like. You can actually, come in here and choose different exposure. Of course, this is what you'd use normally, but now there's just a vat cleaning, built into it. monitor. Of course, if you're doing a print, you can see what's going on. You can actually affect and change the layers. So that's kind of nice. This is some of the cloud stuff I was talking about earlier, where you can hook this up to the cloud and you can print remotely using their app. One thing I also like about AnyCubic printers is that they always put this milling around the vat. This makes it so that the screen is lower and that the tape is lower. Some of their printers even have an extra milling around the tape so that it's completely flat. The flatter this is, the better, because the further away you get from the LCD, the worse resolution you get. So even though this printer isn't designed for like incredibly high detailed prints, this is more designed for fast prints, given the ACF film and some of the design choices they took. Still nice to see that they are still doing this kind of a design on it. One thing I also noticed, this is pretty much plastic with an interior chassis, so these can even just be undone by hand, and they are incredibly short. That's because they're not intended to be like a normal build plate where it's holding on this big piece of aluminum. It's just holding on this top plate, which is I'm pretty sure it's plastic, top plate on it. That's probably why this printer is so cheap and so light, is anything they can do to keep the costs down while putting the money mostly for the S series into some of the brains about this auto leveling and failure detection. A pretty good UI, I like it. That's a little slow. I wish that was a little faster. I don't like waiting there forever for stuff to go. All right, let's see here. So it's not really a review of a printer, it's just an unboxing that's turning into a review. Sorry about that. Oh yeah, there's plenty of room. On some other printers I've reviewed recently, doing this, and that sucker would have fallen right off. AnyCubic has moved away from the kind of the reflective lens that like the M3 Premium use, and they're back to the matrix. So that's kind of a little bit of a downgrade for some of the other printers, where you've got this pattern in there. So something to keep in mind is the light source on this one isn't as good as some other printers, but it's also the same light source that's used in like this, the Saturn III, or really a lot of printers we're used to. So it's not like it's a complete downgrade, it's just back to what's more common versus the more expensive lens and reflector lens that you see in some of the more premium expensive printers on the market. So basically for this printer, if you're gonna use it, you'll remove this piece of plastic right here. You'll install that screen protector, which I won't do now. You'll take that off, and now you're pretty much ready to install this with the Max sign facing you. It goes down in these nice little nubs. This does have some nubs on the bottom of it, so when you put it down, it should reduce how much crap gets on the bottom of the FEP. It's got these tiny, 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 tiny little screws. I don't like these because they strip out real easy. But what you should do is actually take some of the grease. You should always have some grease for your for maintenance for the rail and the screw. And I use like a silicone-based one. You apply it to the screws and just kind of make sure they stays on there. If it gets a little worn down, add a little bit more. That way these things will always thread in pretty easily. This actually pushes through the FEP on the sides, down through it, and they all do that. So something to keep note, it's maybe you have to kind of push through it that first time if they haven't pre-punctured it. You tighten those on, not too tight. If you torque these on tight, I hear there may be some issues with the auto leveling of the system. Of course, you just don't want to strip them down anyway. They're pretty thin screws. And put your build plate on. This thing is self-leveling. Remove that. Dump in your resin and print. And that's pretty much it. This thing does have some cloud capabilities, but I still like using the USB. The reason for that is because I like to go to the printer and prepare it before every print. So that's why I'll take my silicone spatula, I'll squeegee it, I'll make sure nothing's in there. That's also mixing up the resin, getting it ready for the next print. Then I'll hit print. So the wireless stuff for me, I don't really care. But that's pretty much it. That's the unboxing review of this printer, this very, very, very light printer. Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day.